Hello, welcome. Field Home Farm Sessions, episode 241, September 4th, 2025. How are you today on this rainy day? We need some rain, and it's always good to get. I mean, not too much. It's raining pretty nice in southern Ontario, Bradford, Ontario, an hour north of Toronto. The Chicken Man talking. I'm going to talk to you today about the kids went first day of school. I haven't talked to you. Let me see. When was the last time I talked to you? September 1st. So the Labor Day I talked to you. But talk about the first day of school. Talking to my little friend Luigi. Hockey starting for my daughter. Oh my. Hockey starting everywhere for everyone in Ontario. Hello, KJ. How are you today? KJ just popped on. Talking about everything that I was just going to mention 4-H. So that's why he came on. 4-H meeting last night with one of my daughters, a CFO meeting, Chicken Farmers of Ontario, stopping in to see some buddies on the way home from that meeting. Shout outs to, I didn't mean to diss my Quebec Bonjour friends. I just said I haven't seen them listening for a while. And then lo and behold, a couple of them listened. So it was great. KJ, you went out and then you went in. Oh, KJ. Well, maybe it was my friggin' computer. It's bouncing around. The rain is not helping. So shout outs to my Quebec people listening. Thank you very much. Bonjour. Just give me KJ. You're in and out. Maybe it's my computer. I don't know. It's rain. The rain is coming today. I was going to say talk about school. Well, that's back to school. So the kids went all back to school. I see all these lovely pictures. Emmett's on. How are Emmett? A long time no see. I stopped in to see Emmett yesterday. I will talk about that. So you go online, Instagram, Facebook, you see all the pictures of the kids going back to school, KJ's daughters going back to school. I was not, this was one of the first years I don't think I was at the end of the lane. I was at the end of the lane with my oldest daughter, but it sounds really bad when I say the shine is worn off. But she's going into grade 10 and doesn't really love getting her picture taken for that purpose. The other one's grade 8, grade 7, and grade 5 is my youngest. Mystery, holy shit, the Mystery's on. Mystery, Emmett, and KJ. Mystery is up there in the hearts. I thought Emmett would be there, but Dirty Dawn, who's that? Anyways. Gotta stop reading my... So anyways, yeah, so grade 8, grade 7, grade 5. My wife didn't take a picture. I wasn't out there when they came. I was getting the barn ready for the chickens. My chicks came on that day in the afternoon after my podcast, and they are chirping and running around like they should, and everything seems to be going good so far. Check the water. Just, it's different. It's odd when you get two different barns, two different ventilation systems, two different systems of humidities and temperatures, and you got to monitor things different. And hopefully when my kids take over, they will take over or it's gone, one or the other. So anyways, getting back to talking about first day of school. So yes, Labor Day, they went back to school on to the Tuesday. KJ had a picture of her kids online. Mystery, where was the picture of your daughter online? But anyways, we didn't do that this year. 3 of my kids said they had a good time at school. The other one said they didn't. Now I remember going back, did our parents even give a shit whether we liked school or not? I don't remember them asking too much. It's like there was no choice. You go to school, whether you liked it or not, you go to school. So we get too involved with our kids' stuff nowadays and just let them do what they do. And too bad, so sad. Go to fucking school. So when school starts, that is the start of programs after school, which is hockey for myself. Dance doesn't, not for myself, my daughter, but dance doesn't start till Friday night. And that's a year-long event too with one of my daughters. My other daughter, I don't know what she's doing. And my son, I'm trying to get him into hockey because I want to get him to something. He did hockey last year. I thought he enjoyed it. Now, I was assistant coaching. I'm not going to do that this year. Just too much on the go. My one daughter that's in hockey is all the time, and dance and chicken board duties and just enough stuff going on. I said, if he wants to play hockey, that's great. But as far as being an assistant coach, no, don't need that. So, and then I talked to my buddy Luigi. Oh, and Fee is doing amazing. He hurt his knee, but he's getting better. And he's like, "Why did I hurt my knee? I don't understand." I said, "Well, you know what? We're gonna be. You're 52 years old, Mystery. You're like 80. No, you're 53." I said, when you get this old and you don't do those exercises all the time, when you do something like I remember I telling you I hurt my elbow there a while ago. Well, that's just what happens. Emmett climbed up the silo twice, and he was hurting yesterday too. He told me. So yeah, you just can't do everything we used to do, and sometimes you just need to do it and relax. So Fee's doing good. His 4 kids are doing good. His oldest son, he's got 4 sons. His oldest son is in university in Kingston. Like, holy crap, we're getting old. His oldest son is in university. That's insane to think about that. KJ, your daughter, what's your oldest daughter in grade 11? I don't know, something like that. So it was great talking to Luigi, and I said we got to get together for golf one of these days. Maybe Emmett. I think Emmett, you told me you golf, but you're crappy like me. So Mystery, Emmett, myself, and a Fee. That would be good for a golf game. We'll go together. And Mystery, you have lots of time. Pick a golf course somewhere close. He's in Binbrook, so he'll come that way. We could all meet in Guelph. We could all meet in Georgetown. Anywhere. Let's just pick a day in the end of September, October, because you don't want to get too late. I don't want to golf with a coat on. That's just not fun golfing. So, and then yesterday had my CFO meeting, Chicken Farmers of Ontario Specialty Breeds meeting, and I was glad I went to this meeting. Our CEO gave us the option. They said for the directors, the executive has to go to the meeting because it's part of that. And oh, Emmett, thanks for liking the show. It's part of that, but I said the rest of the directors, it said it's an option to go, so we don't have to go. But since it's my first year on the board, I said I want to go suck. Say suck everything, and that just sounds really dirty. Absorb everything that is offered to me, and I'm glad I went because just learning about our specialty breeds industry, you don't have to have a quota for it, but it's a very limited market. It is not. You can't just build a barn and say I want to ship to this and away you go. You definitely have to have a relationship with a processor, a hatchery to get the chicks and everything else. It's not as easy as it sounds, and it's a very limited market. So I'm just starting to learn about it. But it was a specialty breeds meeting. A lot of Mennonite people grow for this specialty breeds market because it's more of there you go. It is tomorrow. My big birthday's tomorrow. It is one of those days. But and my daughter's birthday too, so it's lovely. And then that's enough about my CFO. I get in. I'll stop. No, hold on. I'm gonna spitter and spatter. But after the CFO, I text Emmett. And I said, Emmett, get a beer ready. I'm coming to see you. And then before I did that, I said, holy shit, I should talk to Derek, which they used to call Dink. I talked to Derek, and he says I'm home. And yeah, Mystery. That is always the hope. If you don't have hope, you have nothing, right? So I text Derek. I said I said, you around? He said, yep, I'm around. So I stopped in there for a beer. I said, Emmett, I haven't been to Derek's place for probably before I was married. I'm married 15 years, so 17 years. He had a pool. Mystery. KJ, don't put your hand over your head. You don't know what we're talking about. Come on now. You don't have the dirty mind like a man, do you? Anyway, stopped to see him. Great seeing him. He stopped in to see me once in a while. Now that I'm back and forth to Guelph all the time, or at least a couple times a month. That is one of my stops. And he said, next time you're up and staying over, give me a call. And I said, well, I might get into trouble if I go out with you and drink too much, and then I have a Chicken Farmers of Ontario meeting the next day. So I said, maybe you just come to the hotel where I'm staying. We have a beer and then go back. Because usually I like to go up the night before, read a lot of materials, talk to a bunch of the other directors, just find out what's going on. You kind of plan for the meeting the next day, and you do not need to be intoxicated for the next day. It's shitty growing up, isn't it? Everybody listening. So, and then yes, and then Emmett. I went to see Emmett after, and Emmett, we got to think of a name for a nickname for your son. I was gonna call him the unit or maybe the weapon. I don't know. What are we gonna call your son, Josh? We got to have a nickname for him. Usually a person doesn't pick their own nickname. Like Mystery never picked his own nickname. I named that. Emmett's got his. KJ, I don't. That's just easy. But Josh, we got to get a nickname for Josh, Emmett. So Mystery, what do you think we should nickname Emmett's son? We'll figure out a name. Stopped in to see him. They did third cut haylage the day before. It was one of those reminiscent times. I'm like, oh, I remember doing it. I don't love it. Hold on, unedited KJ. Great seeing him. I took the Camaro. It was a beautiful day to have the Camaro, the whatever you call it, the top down on the convertible. I'm just kind of trying to do shit here. Top down the convertible. You do not want to have the top down today. It is a very cloudy, rainy day, which is one of those days we need because without rain, you don't get corn. Without corn, you don't get whiskey, right? So, did you see online? I'm not going to talk too political. Did you see online? Doug Ford dropped. He's our premier of Ontario. Like dumped a bottle of Crown Royal because he said they're taking their bottling facility to the States, and he's not happy about it, losing Canadian jobs and Ontario jobs. And excuse me, I did it. And I said, "Oh, that's no good." But there's got to be a reason. One of the reasons probably is too high a taxes. I don't know, and I don't drink Crown Royal myself. It's not my cup of tea. I like the old Crown Royal, Royal Reserve, 12 years age, stuff like that. But it's not good when you lose Canadian jobs by any means. And I'll delve more into it when I do a little bit of research. But that's not always good. The old Crown Royal is good once in a while. But so summing up, saw Emmett. Could not go into Emmett's barn because I have my good clothes on. And Emmett's barn smells like a dairy barn. I don't know, is that a nickname for Josh? 10 feet tall and bulletproof? He's not 10 feet tall, but you call him the rabbit because he's a goer and he's got a girlfriend. So we call him the rabbit. How Emmett? Let's just call your son the rabbit. How does that sound? If he doesn't like it, he can stop it. So we'll name him Emmett Foster's son, the rabbit. There we go. We gotta write that down. The rabbit. And hold on. Oh. So after that, a night of busyness. My daughter took my wife took my daughter to hockey, and it was a yoga. She had Mister, you're just writing like crazy. Well, everybody liked the show. So she took my daughter to Barrie, and the coach did yoga, and I would, I'm not going to question. I'm not going to question the coach. I don't want to get parent banned from this organization. It's a good organization. And he seems like a very great coach. And he explained it to us too before we even question why they're doing yoga. They don't do yoga all the time. They did yoga last night, and he said it's for the breathing part of hockey. So to learn how to breathe when you're working. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. It's we'll see what happens. You can question and wonder why they're doing this method, but at the end of the day, if the girls start winning hockey games and playing good and improving, then it doesn't really matter what he does. To a point, it doesn't really matter what he does as long as they're winning. On that point, she went to yoga, and I took my other daughter to 4-H. So I don't know why we did it that way, maybe, but I didn't want to really see yoga. But took my oldest daughter to 4-H, and they're in different clubs, and they went over the showmanship. And Mystery, we should have you out for a next year, maybe for when they're leading the Cavs, just to show. Because I know you were a top showman. You won the TD Classic or the Scotiabank Classic for showmanship the one year, so you should be very knowledgeable. I know you are very knowledgeable at showmanship. So next year, with your permission, and I should ask you, do you judge shows? We're looking for a judge for Beaton Fair, Dickers from Beaton, on September 13th at noon. So if you're not busy, I don't know if you do like 4-H judging or not, but they're looking for a judge. So just give me a heads up, yes or no. But anyways, we should have you next year for showmanship. So at the meeting, the one leader took a video of the Barrie show day, the achievement day, all the kids leading the Cavs, and some of it was kind of like, wow, because it's like you don't really realize when you're sitting in the stands because you're kind of looking at your daughter. But then when she's videotaping everybody else, most of the kids they had a lot of mistakes, which whatever, they're young. They're not, I think they're all under 15, so they all had a bunch of mistakes, but I gave them some tips of what I was never an amazing show person in at the Royal. I always won the county shows, always won everything leading up to the Royal. As soon as I got to the Royal, shit the bed. But whatever, I got nervous. It was what it, and then when I got over 19, I had lots of fun. It was just what it was. But we'll have you out next year. So, anyways, on the showmanship, and one of the tips I gave them was you have to be on the whole time, even when you're leaving the ring, because the judge is kind of watching. And I said a couple of the kids, they just gave as soon as they got pulled in for line, they just gave up and started acting goofy. And I said, you can't do that. You got to be on the whole time. So that was my little tip. Mystery, you can give some tips next year if you're willing. I see my online chat's gone dead when I asked Mystery to judge. KJ, are you just listening in the office? What are you doing? I know what Emmett is 10:09. He's probably mixing feed or running the stable cleaner, one or the other. That's done. We had the 4-H. Yep. So they got their next show is Beaton Fair on September 13th, and then that might be it. I don't know. My one daughter might want to go somewhere else, and we'll see what happens because my one daughter's got a tournament the next weekend when there's another show up in Collingwood, which is really what I don't want to do, but whatever. And I think Hubie Jen, you're getting your chicks next week. Shout out to Hubie Jen. Excuse me. Banking. I was doing fucking banking today. I hate banking, but I like banking if you look at your statement, you got a lot of money, but it doesn't usually work that way. You usually pay too many bills. And my last shout out, I'll shout out to Little Jerry, Thailand, Kevin, those people. My last shout out is to Dirty Mike. I said he's having a tough time. I don't want to choke up, but he's having a tough time with his, not his immediate family, a part of his family. And Dirty Mike, I'm here for you. If anything, if you need to talk to me anytime, okay? On that note, thank you for listening, and shout out to everybody. Thanks.